guys, it's the Scruffy-Looking Nerf Hoarder back again for another video. Now, every time I post a video about anything to do with Black Series helmets, I always get the same question in the comments. And that question is, will it fit my head? Will it go in your noggin? And today's video, I'm going to try and answer that question. Videos on the Scruffy-Looking Nerf Hoarder channel are intended for audiences of 13 and above. The first Black Series helmet released by Hasbro was in 2015. Since then, we've had 20 separate helmets. The internal sizing on these Black Series helmets is so varied. Some of the helmets are so loose that I actually feel like I need some padding in there just to stop it wobbling around. And some of the other helmets feel like they're going to literally rip my ears off because they're so tight. So in this video, I'll be rating every Black Series helmet from the least comfortable to the most comfortable and everything in between. And I'll also be talking about how you can make it a little bit more comfortable and things you can do to make a bit more space in each helmet if you've got a big head. Now, before we start the ratings, I'll quickly give you the circumference of my head. I am 22 inches, roughly. Yeah, 22 inches. So if your head's around about 22 inches, bear in mind this video will probably be more appropriate to you. If your head's a lot smaller, you're probably not going to have the same issues that I do have with some of the earlier helmets on this list. And if your head's a lot bigger than mine, then you're probably going to struggle to get a lot of these helmets on, including some of the ones near the end of my list. Number 9 on my list of most uncomfortable Black Series helmets is the Poe Dameron helmet. Now, this helmet is deceptively small because if you look there, it looks like it's got a lot of space. It's like over 8 inches long, and you see the back bit there. It's got a lot of space. But what it does do to my head, it almost pinches it right in the front, especially with the pads in. So if I put it on now, you can see it's a real struggle just to get it over my ears. And then with the pads in as well. So uncomfortable. Now this actually feels like it's crushing my head right now. It's so tight. I've worn this for about 10 minutes before, and it actually does give me a headache. It's so tight. Now the good thing about this is because it does have those removable pads, you can take them out, put on the helmet, and then it's a lot more wearable for me. It's almost too loose now, so I need some pads just to stop it spinning round. But for me, definitely uncomfortable with the pads in, and I like to have the pads because that's more authentic. So worst one to wear by a long shot. Next on my list is another unique sculpt. This time it's the Mandalorian helmet, and this helmet again is deceptively small because if we look there, width-wise, it's about 8 inches, so it's a pretty big helmet. But when I try and put this on, now there's straps inside and they dig so badly into the side of my brain, almost my temple here and here. And if we take the helmet off, we can see inside it is these straps right here that hold it onto your head. And the way they've designed it, they sort of slightly just stick out, almost like a centimetre each side. Now luckily, this can be removed. Literally, you can just pull it out. So if you take this strap bit out, that means the helmet is much more comfortable. Again, it's almost loose then, but this thing is just look at the depth on that. It's almost sort of like a half a centimetre each side, and I think they're not quite plush with it as well. So when you add that into either side of that, it really does sort of dig into the side of your brain. So not the best design there. So that's why that is on the list. Number 7 on my list is the Luke Skywalker Wedge Antilles and Trapper Wolf helmet. A lot like the Poe Dameron helmet, this helmet suffers because of the pads fill up so much of the space that there's not really enough room for my head as well. So if we look at the bottom of the helmet, again, it's about 8 inches. But when I try and get this one on, you'll see that it really does cut into my ears. Let's see if I can get this one over. There you go. Once my ears are in, it's not too bad because my ears go in the small spaces in the middle. But getting on my head is so difficult. And it just never feels quite right. There we go. I think that's as good as I'm going to get. So, yeah, it just feels, again, just quite tight around my ears and on the side. There we go. Now, again, this is another one where you can remove those pads. You don't have to remove the top one. So if you remove those, that does mean that this helmet is a lot more usable. There we go. And for me, that is a lot more comfy. Next on my list is the Darth Vader helmets. This is the original helmet that came out a few years ago, and this is the new Obi-Wan Kenobi helmet. They're both pretty similar. You can see this one has a slightly longer neck. Now, the reason this is on the list, let me just put this one down. Oh. The reason this is on the list is not because it's so uncomfortable, but it's really claustrophobic, and just to get it on, it feels so tight, especially around your neck. So this one's one of those ones where once it's on, it feels fine. But if we look at the bottom of this one, just to see, now this isn't going around your head, this is going around your neck. So that's why it feels a little bit different. And we can see there, it's only 6 inches. So it's a really small gap, but this is where it's going slightly different, around your neck rather than around your head. So if I remove this top piece, once you've got this one on, I find this one is probably one of the most comfortable, but getting it on is, now this is the worst bit. Oh. Come on, there we go. So now you can see the back of my head is strapped in there. It's actually quite nice. I've got a lot of room, but it's tight around my neck. And then obviously just put the top on, and there we go. So now it feels really nice actually around my whole face. It's just, if I move at certain angles, the plastic does sort of cut straight into my neck, which isn't the nicest of feelings. But as long as I stay straight and upright, then it's most impressive. Next on my list is another unique sculpt, the Kylo Ren helmet. And this is the first helmet that came out all the way back in 2015. Now this helmet, I've put a bit of padding in just to make it a bit more comfortable for myself. But we can see this one here, your head going in there is about 8 inches. And again, this is another one that has those straps that you can remove. But I find even with the straps, this one fits my head really, really nicely. There you go. The thing with this one, it doesn't need to go that far down. It fits on your nose, and it's actually quite nice. Once you've got it on, it feels very comfortable, and I could wear this one all day long without any issues at all. So this is probably one of the first ones where it's actually just quite comfortable to wear, and I could wear it for long periods of time. Next on my list is the Stormtrooper Mode. So that includes the original Stormtrooper, the Incinerator Trooper, the Shock Trooper and the Shadow Trooper, and the new Artillery Trooper that I haven't yet opened. Now this helmet is pretty big and will fit most heads. We can see inside there's not a lot going in inside. This is one of the helmets that didn't have any detail inside, so it does give you a lot more space. The area to go in is about 8 inches, so again, pretty standard size. But this one, the straps are built in, so they can't come out, but they are really flexible. You can see it's a really rubbery plastic, so worst case scenario, you can just undo them and just have them flopping around, or just completely cut them out if you need to. Now with me, this is I've got it not on the lowest setting, so it's actually a lot more give in there, and this one fits my head really nicely. And there's actually a nose rest as well, where my nose fits really, really comfortably in there. If you can see that there. So my nose fits right on there, and again, feels really, really comfortable. Really nice helmet to wear. Number 3 on my list is the Boca Town helmet. Now, when this got announced, I was really worried that this would be undersized, but as it turns out, it's actually one of the most comfy helmets that I've got, which is a real surprise to me. We can see inside it's got all that great detailing, but that doesn't lose you any space. If we look, get my ruler out, we can see, again, it's about 8 and a bit inches, so it's a quite nice gap there to fit your head in. And you can see it has, similar to the Mandalorian, it's got that strap that can be removed inside. Now, for some reason, this helmet fits me really well with the strap in. If you've got a bigger head, you can obviously remove that strap. But for me, when I put it on, it actually fits really, really snugly. Feels really, really comfortable. Nothing's digging in. And yeah, I've got full movement with my head. It's a really nice helmet, really comfortable. I love this helmet, it's great. Number 2 on the list is the Boba Fett helmet. And that includes the Boba Fett helmet, the Re-armoured Boba Fett helmet, the Death Watch helmet, and the prototype Boba Fett helmet. The Boba Fett helmet has a really great sculpt. We can see inside, there's a lot of great detail on the inside of that helmet as well. But that doesn't mean it's uncomfortable by any means. So this one has got one of the biggest holes, I think maybe even the biggest hole. We can see coming up at 9 inches across there, so it's really, really wide. You can see it does have some bits sticking out, but they are quite squishy. And again, this one has the straps that are removable, but on this helmet, I find that actually it's a great size for my head. It's not even at the maximum, these straps, but again, if you've got a bigger head, you can remove those straps. And this one fits really nicely on my head, really, really comfortable, and I think looks incredible. And number one on my most comfortable Black Series helmet list is the First Order Stormtrooper helmet, which is also the same mold as the Captain Cardinal helmet. Now, the reason I find this helmet so comfortable is because of the straps inside. So if we take a quick look, we can see that this one has quite a unique strap design. There's one at the top, which sort of rests on your head, and then a separate strap, which goes at the back of your head and almost sort of, because it's elastic, pushes the helmet to hold it onto your head. So I find this one is the best one for just staying on my head as I move it around. So the technique for putting this one on is a bit unusual as well. So I always hold the elastic and then slip it over my head and then let go of the elastic so that it goes to the back of my head. And there we go. Once it's on, this one will not come off, and it feels really, really comfortable. I love the way this sits on my head. And it's so easy as well to remove. That elastic really does just hold it on your head so much better than anything else, because elastic is just really, really good at just giving some force, but not obviously, it's not plastic, it's not hard, it's not going to cut into your head. It's got a lot of give to it. It is, you know, it's elastic, so it's going to be a lot more easier to sort of go with the flow on your head. Now you can see as well, if we look at the gap on this helmet, we are looking at, it's quite a big one, this one. So this one, a good solid 9 inches there at its biggest point. So that is why this helmet is the most comfortable Black Series helmet. So guys, let me know in the comments what's your most comfy Black Series helmet. I have to say it was so close to being the Boba Fett helmet. I do love this helmet. The design of it is so cool. But in the end, I had to go with the Stormtrooper helmet just because of that elastic, and it does really fit on my head really, really well. If you've got one of those heads that's really, really big, let me know in the comments. Do you really struggle? Which helmet is the worst helmet for you? And if you've got a really small head, what do you do? Do you put a lot of padding in there? Again, let me know in the comments. It'd be really interesting to know. Are these things like fitting most people, or are they not fitting a lot of people? Have I got a big head? Have I got a small head? It'd be really cool to know. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, guys. And until next time, may the foam flinging force be with you. Greetings, Exalted One. As a token of my goodwill, I present to you these two videos. Both are about Star Wars weapons and will serve you well. Until next time, may the foam flinging force be with you.